Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Trade Minister of the Republic of Türkiye, all protocol observes, you are highly welcome to this prestigious event of the 5th edition of Türkiye Africa Business and Economic Forum here at the heart of our beautiful city of Istanbul. I would like to continue this session with the Turkish language, please. For those who want to use their headset, please, they can take their headsets. Thank you so much. Evet, değerli konuklar, Türkiye Afrika İş ve Ekonomi Forumumuzun 2. günündeyiz.
We are on the 2nd day of the TABEF event. Of course, Southern Africa presentations will start soon. And of course, we have the Deputy President Paul Mashe and of the Minister of Trade Ömer Bolat is among us, and DEİK President Nail Opak, and of Mr. Yunus Osin, and DEİK Turkey Southern Africa Business Council President and Chair İlyas Moneges are among us. Welcome all. So Turkey Africa in TABEF forum, let's start and proceed with the South African country presentations. For the opening speech, I would now like to call the chair of DEİK, Abu Bakr Salim, to the stage. Thank you. So, esteemed Southern African Republic Deputy Chair President Paul Mashe and Turkish Republic Minister of Trade Ömer Polat, esteemed Southern African International Relationships President John Lamona, and Southern Africa Defense Minister Angie Moseka, and DEİK President Nail Opak, and Deputy Ministers and consulants and ambassadors and esteemed representatives of our business world. Welcome all. And esteemed President, first of all, between two countries, the relationship needs, in order to strengthen the relationship, becoming a pioneer to this forum, however, couldn't attend since he's traveling abroad. I would like to thank Cevdet Yılmaz before you. And of course, Southern Africa and Turkey relationships and the people who are working on this, Machete and Yilmaz, in the past 10 years, has been showing great effort and contributions to strengthening this relationship. So even though he's not here among us today, we are sending him our love and respect, of course. The BUSA team, I would like to thank them too in your presence. Due to their contribution, we were able to strengthen our relationship very quickly. In Southern Africa, the Minister of Trade is always open for us. Although he's not here among us today, he is dealing and following up closely all the challenges that Turkey faces. So I would like to thank him in your presence as well. So, like, esteemed guests, the Türkiye and Southern African relationship, as you can observe, is strengthening each day. And on the Tuesday, you saw the signing procedures and also brought this relationship to a next level. So these relationships, not only economically, but also becoming a friendship, a strong friendship. And it's time for that, to be honest. And as for Turkey, our belief is the countries who are friends to Turkey are walking towards a safe future. And when you have a look at the past 2 years, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, you can see the most tangible examples. And our South African friends, with the same belief, I am telling you that Turkey will always be the trustworthy partner. Same applies to Southern Africa, of course, and with many partners, they're doing some business, and we are aware of these businesses. The final and last and most striking example was although all the challenges, their stance against Palestine showed us how French-friendly country is South Africa, and reminded us all. So from now on, our relationship will continue as in friendship with Southern Africa. And South Africa, for many countries, Turkey became a strategical partner, from textile to glass industry, energy to mining, infrastructure to construction. In many sectors is now developing. And of course, in the defense industry is another partnership branches that we have now. So like similar relationships, we will soon want to see the same in South Africa. But in order to do that, of course, we have some requests from the South African side. So the Turkish firms and companies on the tax basis, they are facing some challenges. And here, we want an even level for us. Not a unique one, not a tailor-made one, but at least in order to compete with our rivals, we need an equal environment and a level. So we first do trade and then invest. So please remove or convince, easy up the challenges that we face at the moment. The South Africa was the biggest economy in the past, and now is still the biggest economy in the Africa continent. And together we will make sure that and work together, and we want to work together in order to make Africa, South Africa, the biggest economy in the future, and reduce the unemployment rate, and we are ready for any sort of partnership to do so. And Turkey and South Africa, if they collaborate, not only for their own trade, but for the future of African continent, we can open a strong page and deliver a strong message. Thank you. So, esteemed participants and guests, so for their speech now, the President of DEİK, Nail Opak, we would like to call him to welcome to the stage, sir. The floor is yours.
In English, but since Abu Bakr Bey started in Turkish, let me convert my speech to Turkish and continue in Turkish, if I can do right here. Güney Afrika Cumhuriyeti.
So, Paul Chattel, the Deputy President of the South African Republic, and the Ministry of Defense, and their ambassadors and consultants and esteemed visitors. So on the second day of Tabev event, which is now established and organized along with the contribution of our Minister of Trade in Turkey. So I would like to now mention about our organization. So for the past 40 years, we are actively working and building bridges and coordinating the international trade relationships and our country. So with a business organization and acting upon the business councils around the world, we have more than 40 in Africa and 153 throughout the world. So 48 councils actually shows the interest of Turkey in Africa. And of course, one of these Southern Africa and Turkey Business Council is in 1997, it's been active and has two subsidiaries, the Black Business Council and the Business Unity South Africa. So I would like to thank both presidents. And so like the binary trade going on between two countries, more than $2 billion of increase, and balancing is among our objectives. So this balancing, while doing this balancing, of course, Africa's intra-Africa policy framework we need to act upon. And we are aware of that. So our own vision, win-win, is expressed. And as Abu Bakr mentioned, I would like to now add few things. So in order to make trade, we need logistic, very important infrastructure, and the development is required. Of course, the trade and investment, when we talk about this, financing and banking is a must. And at this point, the Southern African Republic, the digital payment system activities, we are aware of that. And in this field, we need to collaborate even more. And today's world, the technology, startups, and the innovations are directing these industries and sectors, and so in our works we will bring those up forward and underline its importance. And our Turkish constructor, along with their South African colleagues, their intention is to make even more projects in South Africa. And finally, for our own beautiful country, Türkiye, in Western Europe and China, it's the biggest investment, manufacturing and technology hub. And our friends also thinks the same way. More than $800 billion worth of exports we have. And of course, we will be listening about the South African investment opportunities, but also we have great opportunities here in this beautiful country. So within those feelings, thank you for the Deputy President and all the valuable and esteemed guests. Thank you. So Nail Opak, the President of DEİK, was among us. Now for their speech, I would like to now call the Southern Africa, the Minister of Trade, Competitiveness and Environmental Industry Development Ministry.
Program Director, let me acknowledge the leadership present here. So Your Excellencies, distinguished ministers that are here, our esteemed business leaders, the delegates that are here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in on behalf of my colleague, the Minister of Trade and Industry. So indeed, I must speak to the mic, okay. No, thank you very much, Program Director. It is indeed an honor to address you at this important South Africa Turkey Business Forum, convened on the margins of the 5th Turkey Africa Business Forum. Indeed, it is a privilege for us to address you as esteemed business forum, convened on the margins of this business forum. So this gathering, Program Director, is more than a dialogue for us between our two nations, because it embodies the convergence of two robust and forward-looking economies, which are guided by shared values, aligned ambitions, and a common conviction that partnerships founded on mutual respect and sustainable growth have the potential to contribute meaningfully to the evolving global economic order. Turkey and South Africa stand at the crossroads of continents, Africa meeting Eurasia, and that geographic and strategic position lies immense potential. So our partnership is not new. It is rooted in decades of solidarity, trade, and cultural exchange. Through today's engagement, we, however, seek to orientate our relationship in a direction towards one that is more strategic, more intentional, and more focused on tangible outcomes. Turkey has become South Africa's one of its largest trading partners in the East and developing Europe region. Our two-day trade, while fluctuating in recent years, it continues to show resilience and diversity. South Africa exports to Turkey from minerals to machinery to automotive components and agricultural products. It tells a story of industrial capability and competitiveness. Likewise, Turkey exports to South Africa, spanning from energy, consumer electronics, textiles, and manufacturing, which reflects its innovative adaptability and world-class product base. But numbers only tell part of the story. What duly defines this partnership is a shared determination to move from dialogue to delivery. 2 days ago, South Africa and Turkey held an inaugural session of our binational commission in Ankara, a milestone that elevates our relationship to the highest level of structured cooperation. It provides a strong framework to coordinate our efforts across trade, investment, defense, energy, mining, digitalization, skills development, and people-to-people cooperation, to name just a few. A significant milestone reached this week was the signing of this Memorandum on Special Economic Zones, and this Memorandum of Understanding will enable exchange of expertise in the development of management of these special economic zones, a joint capacity building programs, and opportunities for Turkish and South African firms to co-locate production facilities in both countries. So we do view this as a practical instrument to drive industrial cooperation, linking South Africa's special economic zones, such as the Tshwane Automotive Zone, Kucha and Atlantis, with Turkey's free zone, organized industrial zones, and technoparks. It is through such linkages that we will expand technology transfer, innovation, and research collaboration. As the global economy faces uncertainty with new tariffs, disrupted supply chains, the rising protectionism, partnerships like ours become even more important. They allow developing nations to act in solidarity, build resilience, and chart their own economic destiny. It is precisely in this point that, as South Africa, we wish to engage Turkey, because we view it as a key partner and seek to expand collaboration as follows. Firstly, we seek to position Turkey as a strategic hub for South Africa's value-added exports into Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East, thereby reducing our dependence on traditional markets. Secondly, we'd like to see more Turkish investments in renewable energy, electric vehicles, manufacturing, and critical minerals, sectors that are key to our joint energy transition. Thirdly, we seek to strengthen cooperation in agro-processing to boost rural development, increase food security, and add value across agricultural value chains in both countries. And lastly, Program Director, we seek to expand cooperation in ICT, smart manufacturing, and innovation ecosystems that can enhance both our countries and competitiveness. We also wish to see strong potential. We also see strong potential to collaboration in defense and aerospace industries, in pharmaceuticals and medical devices, textiles, advanced manufacturing, and agro-processing. These are not abstract ideas. They are real opportunities to create jobs, strengthen food security, transfer cutting-edge technology, and unlock industrial capacity in both our countries. By working together, we can turn these opportunities into shared prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, just allow me to point to reflect on the presence and the leadership of our Deputy President, His Excellency Paul Mashatile. The Deputy President has been a relentless champion of inclusive economic growth, a leader who believes that Africa's prosperity must be built by Africans in partnership with like-minded nations such as Turkey. His vision for economic transformation is grounded in the principles of partnership, industrialization, and innovation. Through his career and also through his life, His Excellency has worked tirelessly to advance investment, infrastructure development, and trade diversification. He is very passionate about ensuring that Africa is not seen merely as a source of raw material, but as a continent of opportunity, value addition, and global competitiveness. Under the leadership of our Deputy President, South Africa has prioritized the revitalization of the industrial base, the transition to a low-carbon economy, and the expansion of export-led growth. He has championed the integration of African economies through the African Continent Free Trade Area, seeing it not just as an agreement on paper, but as a living instrument for transformation that can link Africa's value chains with global partners, including Turkey. Our Deputy President, His Excellency, has often reminded us that Africa's future lies in strategic cooperation, in building bridges between emerging economies, and in turning shared challenges into shared opportunities. It is precisely this thinking that underpins South Africa's approach to its partnership with Turkey. Later will be addressed by Deputy President, who is exemplified, one that exemplifies the principles of progress, of inclusion, of collaborative development, indeed a leader who has dedicated his efforts to driving South Africa's economic renewal and strengthening Africa's view on the global stage. Program Director, I thank you most sincerely. Thank you.
Mrs. Angie Moteka from the Ministry of Defense and Veterans. Thank you so much, ma. And evet, belirtmek isterim konuşan hanımefendi.
I'd like to state that she's from the Ministry of Defense. Distinguished guests, now in order to make his speech, I will invite Mr. Ömer Bolat, the Minister of Trade of Turkey. The floor is yours. South Africa, distinguished Vice President of the Republic of South Africa, Paul Mashatile, distinguished Minister of Defense, distinguished Minister of External Affairs, distinguished Vice Ministers, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished members of DEİK, and distinguished members of the Council of Turkish African Business Forum, distinguished participants of press and media. This week can be called as the African Festivities Week. Distinguished Vice President Paul Mashatile paid an official visit to Ankara, and this week kicked off with this wonderful visit. And with a very large delegation, our Vice President hosted them in Ankara, and they had bilateral meetings and summits with our ministers, and our distinguished president had bilateral talks with Paul Mashatile, and South Africa, the Republic of South Africa, has a long-standing relationship with the Republic of Turkey, and we hope that this is going to be a milestone in our relationship. This is the 5th of the Tabeth conference, and in the name of the Ministry of Trade, and with the support of DEİK, and with the support of TÜRKİYE Africa Business and Economic Forum, you are very welcome to attend the TÜRKİYE Africa Business and Economic Forum. This is the forum has already been the place of very important meetings from 54 countries. Over 3,000 delegates have been here. Many business people are present here, networking with their African counterparts and peers, and from trade ministers who come from 26 different African countries had bilateral talks with the ministers, with the Turkish ministers. Apart from that, we had bilateral talks on food security, renewable energy, manufacturing industry, infrastructure projects, and the financing projects. So these industries came to the fore as themes of discussions at the panel sessions, and we are now bridging the economic relationships between Africa and Turkey in terms of all these sectors, and we are looking for opportunities to upgrade these relationships in all of the aforementioned sectors. TÜRKİYE Africa Business and Economic Forum shall be a bridge for improving the economic relationships between the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Türkiye. Distinguished Vice President Paul Moshatile, the bilateral talk with the delegation led by our Vice President were the place for many agreements and memorandums of understanding. And now we have a common economic committee named JETCO. So we signed the agreement to form JETCO, and we have also firmed agreements of collaboration between South Africa and Türkiye. With the establishment of JETCO, now the economic affairs between the Republic of South Africa and the Republic of Türkiye shall reach much larger volumes, and thus we shall be serving the welfare of both nations. In the first quarter of next year, a large delegation of investors comprised of constructors and contractors and infrastructure business people shall visit South Africa, and they will make the first conference and reunion of JETCO in the Republic of South Africa. South Africa is the most developed, most industrialized country which has the best infrastructure in Africa. And hopefully they shall prosper even more. As the Republic of Türkiye, our president has started the Africa strategy in the year 2003. So we have long-standing relationships with the Republic of South Africa in all camps of life, such as diplomacy, politics, economics, and we have been working on strengthening this communication and relationship, and we have always seen the benefits of this relationship. So mutual respect and the development of the long neglected countries of the African continent were the reasons behind Türkiye's seeing Africa African countries as our allies. We see all of the African countries as our allies. And in the 23 years that have passed, in the 22 years that have passed, our relationships in terms of economy, diplomacy, and commerce have always been excellent. We have now our trade volume is 37 billions of dollars, and now it will exceed $40 billion. And it has been, our trade has made hundreds of thousands of African citizens reach more welfare, and also our trade volume involves $650 billion of Turkey's export. And starting with the agricultural machines, electrical machines, defense industry products, automotive industry products, iron, minery, and coal industries have been the fields where there are the largest opportunities for investments. So the transport sector and the port management sector are among the fields of cooperation between the two countries. There are over 80 investor companies in Turkey, which are of South African origin, and also domestic products, domestic appliances, and mass trade are the fields where the Turkish investors invest in South Africa. From now on, we shall strengthen our diplomatic relationships, and also we shall facilitate more delegations visiting each other, and thus strengthen our cooperation in the sectors of infrastructure and energy. And the 2030 development plan of South Africa shall be also a field for contribution of the Turkish contractors. Information technologies, health, education, and defense industries are all fields where this cooperation will come to the fore at its strongest. Finishing my words here, I'd like to extend my appreciation of the visit of Paul Mashatile, and I would like to coin this moment as a milestone in the Turkish-South African relationship. And for these, I hope that this cooperation is going to be beneficial for both parties. I thank you all for your participation.
Sayın Profesör Doktor Ömer Bolat, evet, ağzınıza sağlık efendim. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now.
Hanımlar, beyler, şimdi Sayın Güney Afrika Cumhurbaşkanı Yardımcısı Paul Mashatile'yi sahneye davet etme onuruna sahibim. Buyurun efendim.
Güney Afrika Cumhuriyeti Bakan Yardımcısı Sayın Paul Mashatile kürsüye teşriflerinizi arz ederim efendim. Thank you.
Please be seated. Minister of Trade of the Republic of Türkiye, Dr. Ömer Bolat. Minister of Trade of the Republic of South Africa, Minister Ronald Lamola. Minister of Defense of the Republic of South Africa, Minister Motshekga. Ministers from Turkey here present, Deputy Ministers from South Africa, and deputy ministers from TÜRKİye who are here present, Chairperson and President of DEİK, Mr. Abubakar Salim, and Mr. Neil Olpak, and business and industry leaders from here in TÜRKİye, Mr. Elias Monache, President of Black Business Council from South Africa, and business and industry leaders from South Africa, ambassadors from South Africa and TÜRKİye, honorary consular generals who are present here with us, esteemed business leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking our host, the Foreign Economic Relations Board of TÜRKİye, DEİK, for their warm hospitality and for their continued efforts to bring our two business communities together. The South Africa-TÜRKİye Business Council has become an important platform for dialogue, collaboration, cementing, and the creation of new opportunities. South Africa and TÜRKİye are natural partners. Both are strong industrial players in our region with diverse economies and entrepreneurial energy. We share a belief in the power of innovation, manufacturing, and trade to drive inclusive growth. Earlier this week, I had the honor of co-chairing the inaugural South Africa-TÜRKİye Binational Commission in Ankara with the Vice President. It was a historic milestone, elevating our cooperation to a new and more strategic level. One key outcome was the signing of a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in the field of free zones. This follows a benchmarking study by South African officials who visited TÜRKİye to learn from its successful zone models. Through this agreement, we aim to strengthen our own special economic zones, attract more investments, and develop export pipelines between our two countries. Over the past few days, I also met with leading Turkish companies in sectors such as agriculture, energy, defense, and electronics. A prime example of this partnership is Arçelik, a company that has become a household name in South Africa through the ownership of DeFi. Since acquiring DeFi in 2011, Arçelik has developed one of the strongest models of TÜRKİye's industrial collaboration on the African continent. Today, they employ more than 2,700 South Africans across major manufacturing facilities, making DeFi the largest producer of household appliances in sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa's economy has shown remarkable resilience over the past year. GDP growth is projected at 1.6% for 2025, supported by stronger manufacturing output, better logistics, and a greater energy stability. Exports grew by nearly 5% in 2024, driven by higher value products in automotive, mineral processing, and agriculture. Business confidence has steadily improved, reflecting investor optimism in our economic reforms. The South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry's Business Confidence Index has shown steady recovery, averaging 115 points in mid-2025, reflecting optimism about our economic reforms and investor confidence. Our Energy Action Plan continues to attract investment in renewable energy, battery storage, and green hydrogen. All of these areas offer immense opportunities for Turkish collaboration and core manufacturing. Looking ahead, we want to deepen this partnership not only through trade, but through shared industrial innovation, technology, and skills transfer and development. TÜRKİYE's expertise in advanced manufacturing, combined with South Africa's infrastructure and young, skilled workforce, creates an ideal foundation for cooperation in the fourth industrial revolution. Our partnership with Türkiye is therefore not only economic, but also developmental, empowering our people, strengthening our industries, and contributing to a shared future of prosperity and justice. While bilateral trade between our countries reached approximately $2 billion in 2024, we know we can do much more. Our goal is to diversify and balance our trade relationship. At present, South Africa exports mostly raw materials, whilst Türkiye exports mostly finished products. We want to change that dynamic to grow both sides through value-added production and joint ventures. Our partnership will be guided by 3 pillars: diversification, decarbonization, and industrial collaboration. Through this approach, we aim to expand South African exports of manufactured and processed goods, including automotive products, mining equipment, agro-processed foods, and pharmaceuticals, while encouraging greater Turkish investments in renewable energy, defense, textiles, ICT, and pharmaceuticals. We also recognize the need to address trade barriers, such as tariffs and standards, to unlock the full potential of our partnership. Yesterday, during a dinner we had with some of the business people, there was someone complaining about the issue of incentives. So I want to confirm that there are incentives in South Africa. You must just come and talk to us. We'll be able to assist you. We also recognize the need to address trade barriers such as tariffs and standards to unlock the full potential of our partnership. Currently, Turkish investments in South Africa total around $32 million, concentrated mainly in textiles, food, and appliances. We welcome this, and we are ready to support further expansion. Likewise, South African investments in Türkiye have grown from $217 million in 2022 to $274 million in 2023. This growth shows our confidence in one another's markets and our shared ambition to build sustainable, innovation-driven economies. This is because we are making it easier and more attractive place to do business. We are simplifying regulations, strengthening industrial incentives, as I said, but also expanding special economic zones. Importantly, the African Continental Free Trade Area, the largest free trade area in the world, gives Turkish investors access to a market of about 1.4 billion people. By investing in South Africa, you can gain a foothold, not just in our country, but across the entire African continent. The opportunities are vast, from renewable energy and automotive manufacturers to defense, agriculture, infrastructure, pharmaceutical, but also digital innovation. In energy, South Africa's growing demand opens new avenues for investments in generation, transmission, distribution, and in repurposing old coal plants for cleaner power. Opportunities in wind and solar energy and in component manufacturing for these technologies are expanding rapidly. We are also prioritizing infrastructure development in transport, logistics, water, and energy to improve capacity and efficiency. We invite Turkish firms to partner with South African companies to localize production and build industrial capacity for the continent. There are also growing opportunities in the automotive and mobility sectors. We invite Turkish companies to consider setting up local operations in South Africa, bringing technical expertise and innovation that can be mutually beneficial. There are also exciting prospects in semiconductors, glass, and composite materials, all essential components for the modern industry. In healthcare, Turkey's strong pharmaceuticals and medical device industries can play a key role in helping South Africa build a more resilient and localized health system. We see particular promise in partnerships around vaccines, diagnostics, and mRNA research and development. We also see great potential in defense and agro-processing sectors. South African defense companies will participate in Konya Defense Industry Fair in November, showcasing their capabilities and exploring integration into Turkish supply chains. In agriculture, we are eager to see more South African products on Turkish shelves and Turkish technology supporting African farming. To help deepen this cooperation, I extend a warm invitation for Turkish companies to attend our flagship investment events, including the Mining Indaba in February next year, Africa Energy Week in March, and Lit Africa in May, Africa Health and the Africa Aerospace and Defense also in 2026. These platforms will help you to understand South Africa's investment landscape and meet potential local partners. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum should mark the beginning of a new phase of practical cooperation, one that includes trade missions, joint ventures, and stronger collaboration of our chambers of commerce and development finance institutions. We are encouraged by the growing role of the private sector in driving this partnership. Turkish and South African firms are already working together in renewable energy, in automotive components, textiles, and also construction. To build on this momentum, we have brought a strong South African business delegation here to this forum, representing key sectors including automotive, healthcare, defense, agro-processing, ICT, mining, and finance. Our task now is to focus not only on the volume of trade, but on the quality, ensuring that every partnership creates jobs, builds skills, and strengthens our industrial base. South Africa views TÜRKİYE as a strategic partner, a bridge between Europe, Asia, and Africa, a nation that shares our commitment to industrial development, innovation, and inclusive prosperity. Let this forum serve as a catalyst, a platform to unlock new possibilities in trade, investment, and technology cooperation. The future belongs to those who build together, who look beyond borders, and who transform shared aspirations into shared prosperity. Together, South Africa and TÜRKİYE can advance a new development compact, one that is green, digital, and inclusive, uplifting our people and strengthening the bonds of our shared humanity. With those few words, I thank you for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency Paul Mashatile, a fascinating speech focusing particularly about strengthening ties between South Africa and Turkey. Thank you so much indeed. Evet, Cumhurbaşkanı
The Vice President of Southern Africa, Republic of South Africa, we would like to thank him. And now, dear participants, will proceed with our presentations. And for the first presentations, the Ministry of Trade and Development and Environmental Industry Development Chair Yunus. Mr. Yunus, welcome to the stage. The floor is yours.
Your Excellency, Deputy President Paul Mashatile, ministers from both sides, I stand on the protocol observed. But let me, at the outset, first thank Deputy President Paul Mashatile for coming to Turkey to co-chair the inaugural Binational Commission. And Deputy President is also the leader of government business, and is playing a pivotal role now in connecting the South Africa-Turkey relationship, which has also established a joint economic trade committee to accelerate and ignite this economic relationship. So thank you, Mr. Deputy President, for doing that and playing that pivotal role. I do think he needs a round of applause for that.
Years, South Africa has proven to be the preferred destination for a growing array of investors and industries on the continent. Today, South Africa is not only a resource-rich economy with access to both a vibrant local market and a growing regional market, but also a world-class financial, technical, and innovation hub, attracting companies looking to tap into the country's talent pool.
We remain convinced that South Africa is an investment destination with significant untapped potential.
home to the largest presence of multinational companies in Africa, with over 180 Fortune Global 500 companies in FMCG, beverages, pharmaceuticals, and many other industries. South Africa has established itself as a gateway to the rest of the continent. These companies have contributed to job creation and economic growth. Our investors not only help in growing our economy, but also play a pivotal role in fostering advancements in crucial sectors such as healthcare, agriculture, and renewable energy. Ranked #1 for innovation in Africa in the Global Innovation Index, South Africa has become a dynamic base for a diverse array of successful innovative startups that have become competitive players globally. Our automotive plants have been the cornerstone of our country's manufacturing capabilities, showcasing our world-class infrastructure and engineering prowess, with more than 6 million vehicles built in South Africa, including a record year for new vehicle exports, reaching nearly 400,000 vehicles in 2023. Several of the world's leading auto manufacturers, like BMW, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, Ford, Toyota, and Nissan, continue to expand their presence in the country with increased investment. According to a recent report by PwC, net foreign direct investment into South Africa has been consistently positive, with FDI growing since the global financial crisis of 2007 to 2009. Inflows amounted to 1.4% of our gross domestic product, a far greater percentage over the last 5 years than in the previous decade. In the past 5 years, 5 well-attended South African investment conferences have attracted 1.5 trillion in investment commitments across a broad range of economic sectors, including the critical industries of energy and logistics. Despite global economic challenges and disruptions to the flow of goods, committed investors, supported by constructive government policies and programs, are putting their trust in South Africa. They're achieving good returns for their shareholders while significantly contributing to the South African economy, propelling the most industrialized nation in Africa to the #1 economy on the continent. A key global hub and your growth story into the African continent. Invest in South Africa. South Africa, inspiring new ways.
Thank you very much. I'm going to quick go through a presentation because much has been articulated by Minister Motseka and our Deputy President. So just very quickly to give you, I think it's important to characterize the South African economy because many people don't know that we're at the southern tip of Africa and we're very industrialized, a very diversified economy itself. So just very quickly, South Africa glance our relationship with Africa and our relationship with Türkiye and why South Africa. So South Africa is very similar to Türkiye. We have a population of 63 million people, a very youthful population. Our GDP per capita is $400 billion, a very big land area, mass area, with coastlines on either side of the ocean. South Africa is world-renowned, like Türkiye. It's a trading nation, but since 1994, the policies that we put in has drastically changed our export composition from low-added to high-added valued goods, in which now we are a vehicle exporter and in a number of sectors into advanced manufacturing. But it is a competitive location. Government's key focus is on improving the investment climate and the ease of doing business, but also to significant invest over the next 3 years, over R1 trillion in infrastructure itself across the board. We are a logistics and trade hub into the African continent, very significant. We have a number of ports. We also, through our SOE Transnet, going to a process where we allowing public-private partnerships in terms of our port, in terms of our rail infrastructure, but also ICT infrastructure. I think there was, first speaker mentioned about digital payments. South Africa in the past 5 years, we put in about 50 data centers in South Africa to advance connectivity, to building a digital infrastructure space, to allow digital acceleration. In terms of air connectivity, Johannesburg, and as we know, ORT is ranked globally in the top 50 in terms of air connectivity. Today, you have 14 flights weekly from TÜRKİYE, from Turkish Airlines, so you have no excuse to come and visit us in South Africa. You've got a direct flight. We have 9 provinces in South Africa, which is very diversified, from mining to manufacturing, to advanced manufacturing, logistics, agriculture, forestry, petrochemicals, as well as significantly the entire country is, like you, a tourism and hospitality destination. So significant industrial capability in a number of sectors in South Africa. We have, like yourselves, and this is where we are now signed the agreement on special economic zones. We have 9 special economic zones located in red. Some of them on either side of the ocean. The others are in the hinterland of the country, which are minerals, special economic zones, manufacturing special economic zones, green and sustainable special economic zones. We offer, as the Deputy President said, a very competitive package. Some of them have a corporate tax rate reduction of 15%, customs control area. We assist you in building the top structure, as well as we're providing you a labor subsidy. And in South Africa's case, for a country of 63 million people, it's a country that is built on a trading platform. It has by far the largest market access opportunity. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement, the EU agreement, the EFTA agreement, the SACU-Mercosur agreement. We also have an agreement with the US in terms of AGOA, which lapsed, but we're talking to them. And that provides you a significant opportunity to set up a regional manufacturing or service base as a footprint from South Africa, because we have our stock exchange is in the top 100 in the world. Our banks, four of our banks are in the top 200 in the world. Our banks have a significant presence in Africa to help you collaborate and co-finance and co-develop projects, including with our DFIs, the IDC, and the Development Bank of Southern Africa and the PIC. So our relationship in Africa is based on a common understanding of deepening integration and industrial development on the African continent. We by far the nerve center and the leader in the African continent. We are Africa's financial and technology as well as logistical nerve hub. So when you're looking as a business case to enter Africa, you need to start in South Africa, into the African continent. But why the opportunity? Markets today are stagnant. The fastest growing economies are on the African continent. There's more than 7 economies in Africa that are in the top 10 or top 20. And you can see the sheer explosion in Africa. There was the white goods, the dividend divide from a youthful population, a higher consumption rate. If you look at today, on a daily basis, there are 100,000 new people in Africa connecting to the internet daily. And that tells you the opportunity in Africa. It's a significant opportunity. The spending power by Africa by 2030 is $2.5 trillion. So it's a significant opportunity, a significant consumer market. You have a large industrial base. Your manufacturing footprint should be in Africa. It should be in South Africa to export it to the African continent. Markets in Europe are saturating, and therefore you can see the synergies and capabilities between ourselves and Türkiye could be a very strategic partnership if we were to work on it. And here we go. This is the diplomatic relationship between ourselves. You have President Erdogan and President Ramaphosa, and we're glad that Deputy President has now taken the economic relationship to a higher level by connecting Turkey and South African business. We have a bilateral trade of $2 billion. There are more than 70 Turkish companies in South Africa. The leading company is through Arçelik, through DeFi. And DeFi, Deputy President, exports to about 25 markets from Africa, from South Africa. It produces in Ladysmith and in Durban more than 1 million consumer products. There is fridges, washing machines, cooking stoves and so forth from its plant in South Africa to export to those global markets. We will talk about the investment opportunities in a moment. But just to make a snapshot on the comparison, the economies are very similar. You have but basically 3 times the size of GDP. Your GDP per capita is also about 3 times our size. Your inflation rate is very high compared to ours. Ours is just 6%. Cost of financing is very much more cost-effective in South Africa. You can raise capital in South Africa from our domestic and international banks. So that gives you a sense of setting up and working from a financial perspective from South Africa onto the African continent. We have a significant unemployment challenge that government is geared to working in terms of creating jobs in South Africa, particularly youth jobs. And I think for us, this is it, where we can collaborate and complement with each other. And strategically, this is the partnership which will be looking in a G2G level and providing these opportunities from to business. We basically see, I think in energy, you have about triple the generation capacity to ours. We have a significant program in terms of power generation, transmission lines. We have 14,000 kilometers of transmission line that we need to build in the next 10 years. That's 1,400 kilometers per year, and it provides a significant opportunity across the boards, from cable, switches, to set up your manufacturing companies to supply our utility, which is Eskom. More than that, we've got about 12,000 megawatts installed capacity already in renewable energy. It's a significant program in South Africa, solar and wind, but we're looking to localize these products. But we want to work with you. You're an industrial economy. We're also an industrial economy in the areas of automotives, in the areas of automotive components, particularly in EVs, particularly in batteries, particularly in energy storage. Those are the areas where we're looking for an industrial collaboration, also in mining. And then the significant opportunity for us as we're opening up the space in infrastructure, in port, in rail, as well as in road. I think that both our countries are unique. They're tourism destinations. And I think that is a mutual exchange. We need to see more tourists coming to South Africa and likewise this side. But the area for hospitality development and hospitality parks, we have a lot of eco-tourism in South Africa. There's also the significant opportunity for us in advanced manufacturing, in the technology, collaboration in defense, in aerospace, in marine. I think that's a significant opportunity where we can look at joint collaboration, procurement, and supply, but also in the agro-processing sector, we're fast becoming a very big halal market. We have significant standards in South Africa. We can supply you meat, beef, poultry, seafood, fruits. We're the second largest producer of citrus. We do apples, pears, cherries, and so forth, macadamia, avocado, everything. You can find that in South Africa, but also I think there are opportunities here in Turkey for South African companies to partner, particularly in the healthcare. If you look at it, the thing is in the healthcare, we learned this from the pandemic, that we have to develop our local capability, capacity, research capability, as well as the skills. In Africa itself, with a population of 1.5 billion people, there ain't no API capability in Africa. And that's where we're looking at strategic partners to come and work with us, develop an API capability, develop a vaccine capability that we can supply to the broader African continent. Develop local capability, develop local vaccines, develop local medicines. You have the capability in the medical equipment and supply. We welcome that. We're willing to work with you. We're willing to joint venture you and to work in these kind of projects. Here we go. I said we have a list. We have an export branch that is willing to work on trade in the areas of agro-processing, as I mentioned. We also have, I see you drink a lot of tea. We have a distinct tea in South Africa that is called rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is much, much more, it's a natural tea, it's a healthier tea. And those for the tourism and hospitality market is significant. You have a significant clothing and textile industry. We are looking to you for the design capability. You design for Europe. We give you the designs for Africa. Both we can get together and develop these kind of markets for the African market, for the European markets. I think that kind of design capability is great. You're also a supplier of cotton, good quality cotton. We can work with you in terms of the spinning, weaving, knitwear capability that we can put. We have a number of factories in South Africa that we can put to work. But I think in the FMCG, in electronics, those are a significant area, but also in the area of cosmetics and cultural goods. Then again, these are some of the areas I touched upon in terms of the investment capabilities in energy across the board, from generation to sustainable energy, automotive and EV components, storage, advanced manufacturing, aerospace, medical devices, pharmaceutical. We are a mining destination. We have deep mining capabilities. We have mining expertise, and we're able to work collaboratively. I think the opportunity for us is to work in the steel value chain between Turkey and South Africa. But then, to wrap it up, why South Africa? I can give you many reasons, but just short. We are a vibrant emerging market, very diversified, number of sectors from resources to manufacturing, to mining, to ICT, finance, banking, telecoms, abundant natural resources. We have 85% to 90% of PGM global capacity, reserve as well as 33% capacity. World-class infrastructure, large population. In our country of 9 states, we play golf every day. The sun shines on us every day. Beautiful country. We have the thing is, in terms of our capability, we have a very strong legal environment, strong judiciary, strong investor protection, strong laws in the country, sound regulatory framework, which are important for investors. But South Africa also has, and it's demonstrated, like you have Archer Lake, we have the largest population of multinationals, over 200 that are entrenched in South Africa and have set up the, so if you manufacturing company in Turkey, your regional manufacturing footprint should be in South Africa to help you to penetrate the African market. And then we have this website that gives you the A to Z of how you establish a business in South Africa. What are the laws? What are the regulations? What are the sector information? And so forth. This is another website that we use for companies from domestic to foreign to advise you on these processes. But also, we have a specific unit that helps renewable energy projects. There's a lot of permits involved, but to get them fast-tracked and as quick to implementation from development. And here we have done an investment project book. That's more than 67 projects. There are also tourism and hospitality projects. It's a project book that is, you can download the QR code. It's more than $40 billion of projects that range from transport, infrastructure, agro-processing, manufacturing, energy, mining, that we can provide you and happily connect you to these projects and talk to you from the unit that I work in Investment South Africa. These are our contact details, and thank you very much.
Presentation. Indeed, let's remind our audience, South Africa is the largest economy on the African continent. Currently, it's also hosting, or is hosting the G20 presidency, so a huge potential. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of South Africa, once again to the stage for a family photo. Please, Your Excellency, once again, we are inviting you to the stage. Aile fotoğrafı için Türkiye Cumhuriyeti Ticaret Bakanımız Sayın Profesör Dr. Ömer Bolat.
Also, we would like to invite Mr. Nail Opak, Mr. Trade Minister Ömer Polat, and the delegation of the head of DEİK, Mr. Abubakar Selim, to the stage to have a family picture together.
Announcement, the B2B meetings will take place in the adjacent hall, the Beylerbeyi Hall. It's going to be Güney Afrika görüşmeleri Beylerbeyi salonunda gerçekleşecektir. Katılımlarınız.
So the B2B meetings shall be in the hall next door. You're all invited.